And there was a time when I was in favor of it. I went on the field trip up to Rockville and saw a town center, and I said, this is great. We want to do this. But as we got closer to this, I could see that this really isn't the right thing to do. There has been no transportation impact analysis done on this property, none. There's something done by the consultant, but it's not a TIA. The VDOT has no clue what's going on here. We're going to possibly approve tonight the possibility of putting over 1,700 apartments on a very small piece of property, and we have no idea what the transportation impact is. I went through this report. There's no level of service report. I have never, in my time on the board, saw a development come before this board without a TIA or without a level of service. This analysis that was done by the consultant did not take into account current traffic, did not take into account Burns Corner, which was approved in December, did not take into account the new distribution center that's been approved on Welch Road. So I believe if this is approved, we're going to just go into this thing blind. We're not going to know how the traffic's going to be. Now, when I first got involved in this, and like I say, I was in favor of it, I pictured a downtown Stafford where current residents could go, shop, restaurants, etc. And yes, there would be apartments there. You'd have the apartment up here and the business down here. Yes, there would be a center like a museum. I think that'd be great. But what we're doing tonight is creating whole another group. How the residents of Stafford going to even get there if you've got 4,300 people already living there? And they all have cars, sometimes 2 and 3. So that's the reason I'm not supporting it.
I've been involved in this for 17 years. And this is one of the most complicated projects and we've been working on it ever since I got on the board in 2006. So in all due respect to Ms. Callender, I'm going to tell you there is absolutely no way that this can be presented in thoroughness, in simplicity. It isn't never going to happen. And I'm going to disagree with my colleague, Mr. Snellings. I've been doing this a long time. I don't agree that I should defer. I'm a supervisor now. I have the experience. I've been working on this for all these years. I don't think I can legitimately defer this to January to someone who just walks on the board for the first time. It takes you 6 months to know how to find the bathroom in this place when it comes to land use decisions and stuff. Many people have come up and said, "Oh, defer this." No, I'm not going to defer this. This is a culmination of work that I've been working on for many, many, many years. And no one has worked on transportation or any of these issues more than I have in all of those years at multiple levels. So forgive me, but I am not going to defer or give away my right to vote on this at this point. And if you don't like it, a board coming forward, let them change it. That would certainly be up to them.
I think that, staff has done a phenomenal job on this, but it is our responsibility to the public to make sure that they do understand, to the best of our ability, what we are voting on. And when people stand up here and say that it's very difficult to understand, and it is very comprehensive, you learn the most when you read the Planning Commission minutes. That's where the rubber really meets the road on all of our public hearings. But so I kind of disagree with that, and I think that we could defer this and maybe do a better job for the public so that the public understands and can weigh in on maybe what they want to see. Maybe they want to change the workforce housing requirements around. Who knows? I mean, so I think that for us to throw the towel in and say that, this is the best we can do, I disagree with that, because we can always do better.
Madam Chairman.
Ms. Shelton.
I will respectfully disagree with that. In one of the the opportunities we have with this rezoning and the way that it's been designed with the UD5 is to give us an incredible amount of flexibility for you, the citizens, to come to us and tell us what that looks like. All we're doing here is rezoning our own property. And by the way, as a reminder, it's our property. We don't get proffers for our own property. That's the contract requirements. That's the contract that was being spoke to, not the MOU between JPI. It's really this contract, and those requirements are what we define. And I say we, the citizens. And so some of the things that you guys asked for, which are completely appropriate, is that we have to have those town halls and that other types of communication to say, what are we going to do with this property once we rezone it? So I'm fully supporting the rezoning of this area to build the downtown Stafford, and mainly because investing in Stafford is something I really want to do. I don't want to give it away, and I agree with Ms. Allen that our continuation to leverage our residential taxes just absolutely doesn't make sense to me. So again, I'm supporting O2122.
I don't understand why we wouldn't have a drafted RFP to be able to show the public before we rezone the land. I think we're putting the cart before the horse in this particular instance, and we should have an example to show the community, here's what we're looking to do. That is the one-page document that I think would help the public really understand what are the impacts of downtown Stafford. Because when I talk to constituents, they think we're talking about restaurants, shops, like women's retail, the things that we have in those leakage reports. But what we're actually selling them is anywhere between 1,000 and 5,000 apartments that we can't pay for. So I really don't understand why we don't prepare an RFP, show the public what we're getting, what we're trying to sell before we approve a rezoning. The board can initiate a rezoning at any point in time, and we can go through the process rather quickly. And since it's already passed the Planning Commission, we could absolutely defer this for almost a year and work on that RFP. So I don't really know what we're trying to accomplish here, but I think it's a real disservice to the taxpayer. So I will not be supporting this project because of the way it's moving forward.